Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Wileen Benson. This is our daily gratitude call. Thank you so much for being here live. And I also want to welcome all those who are listening on the podcast. Before we jump into our private silent meditation this morning, I just want to make a quick announcement, and I'll try to remember to do this every day this week so that those of you who are maybe not on today, but maybe you might be here later in the week or listening at a later time this week. Next week, Monday through Friday, I will be at a retreat. Laura Helmling and I are putting on a retreat for our Architecture of Life mentoring students that we've had over the past 5 months. And this is kind of a culmination. We're going to Sedona, Arizona, specifically for the purpose of having a quantum leap. And it's going to be amazing. And our mornings are going to be really filled with meditation. I'm actually the chef at the retreat also. And so I'm sure I'm going to be having some time in the morning to prepare with breakfast and things like that. And so we're shifting things just a little bit as far as the gratitude call goes. We won't be doing a live call during those 5 days, but I will be making a post, doing a podcast. I'll still be doing a podcast and doing the blog post and everything, but it will just be recorded and not live. So I encourage you to all next week do your daily GPS, do your gratitude practice, continue that throughout the week in the morning so that you can maintain that habit of starting each day with gratitude. And then also, I'll be posting those. I'll probably be actually posting them more towards the evening because that's when we're given the participants free time is in the evenings. And what I'm going to be doing is I just finished my next book and I don't have the title yet. That's how fast this one came together. It doesn't even have a title yet, but it is a book of prayers. Those of you who have worked with me on a private basis or in, like a group setting, there have been several prayers that have come out of the work that I do with my clients and with my own personal daily GPS. And so I put them together into a little booklet. It's about 20 pages long, so it's not a super long book. Well, 20 pages typewritten, single spaced. So not sure how big that's going to be. And it will probably be a little bit of a workbook as well, for you to take notes and, to be able to maybe write some of your own inspiration as you use these prayers. But they're super powerful. And what I'm going to do is read that book. And so there will be an audio version of it, and I'll split it up among the 5 days. Like I said, it's a pretty short book. So, like 4 pages a day, I think we can do that. And that's what the gratitude call will be over the next week, starting Monday through Friday. That's the week of March 22nd through the 26th, I think, if I'm getting the dates right. Anyway, so just mark that in your calendar. We will not be doing the live call at 7 a.m. on those days, but we'll definitely still be doing a podcast, and it will be me reading, an audio version of this new book. So you guys will get to have a sneak peek at those a day at a time. I'm going to be launching this and debuting it at the retreat, and then we'll put it together. I'm probably just going to spiral bind it at my local copier or something. And then I'll be mass producing it, and it will be available for purchase on my website after I get that all put together. So anyway, just giving you a little heads up on that. And thank you, Robert. You, Prayer, and God. He just wrote that privately to me. Thank you. All right. We are going to now jump into our regular gratitude format. And thank you for letting me just take that moment and just kind of a moment of celebration, and also just super excited for what's next. Oh, that's a recommendation for a title, Robert. Thank you. You, Prayer, and God. I love that. I'm going to write that down. We'll see. All right. So for right now, we're going to jump into our private silent meditation. And this goes right along with what I just shared, that there's like something new that's happening here. And the focus for today is heightened progression, gratitude for heightened progression. Several things were mentioned by our live participants about progression, progressing, God's invitation to go higher. Let's see, even vulnerability, I felt like was, we kind of become vulnerable as we're stepping up. Anticipation, participation, and procrastination. That was someone shared that as well. So lots of things that were shared that kind of have this same flavor to it of what's the next level, like what's the next evolution, what's the next generation of this, what's the next chapter. And that our masterclass this month is actually just in a couple of days. So watch my social media, and especially I've been posting things on YouTube Lives, that you can find out a little bit more about that masterclass. But it's all about this heightened progression, evolution, change, moving into a higher level of things, and a more divine perspective, a more divine level. And so I'm going to set my timer for 90 seconds. We're going to do a private silent meditation on gratitude for heightened progression. And just write down the inspiration that comes to you, and then we'll share. So 90 seconds, private silent meditation, gratitude for heightened progression. Begin. All right. I was on Melissa Nichols' armor alignment call that she does every Monday morning at 6:20. I think it's when she starts it. You can go to Armor Alignment, I think is the name of her Facebook group, to find out more about that. And I don't attend every single week, but every week I have an alarm set that reminds me about her call. And so even if I'm not able to get on the call live, because I'm like right in the middle of my own daily GPS or something, is really the only reason why I don't get on. And she, and I'm just reminded to put on that armor. And she goes through like the different energy centers of, the crown chakra and the third eye and all the way down, and just fully encompassing you in this armor. And today, as I did get on the call this morning, and there's a moment where she talks about bringing down the light of heaven. And in the past, I've seen this as kind of like a cape that flowed out behind me. Oh, Melinda, excuse me, Tyree and Mary. Thank you for correcting me. It's Melinda Nichols. Thank you. Um, anyway, in the past, I felt that as just like a cape that kind of protected me from behind. But this time, that light of heaven just went out like a wave all across the earth, like completely encompassed the globe. And it was like this tractor beam that just wherever the light touched, it attracted people, drew people to me. And there's been, I've had some meditation in my daily GPS over the past few weeks about touching all four corners of the earth, like taking my message out to the world. And I've been learning this past week, especially, how instead of like taking the message out to the world, the Lord's way is to just allow his light to go forth, and it comes. And, those of you who are in the Lord's Way to Wealth membership community, that this is like normal conversation that we have, that it's so easy. Life is easy when you let God and angels do all the work. Anyway, this heightened progression for me is, I know that there is an evolution to everything that I'm doing right now that is going to, excuse me, allow heaven's light to go out and touch all the four corners of the earth, and that people will be drawn to me. I don't have to like travel around the world, thank goodness. Jesus touched people wherever he traveled. He would walk from place to place and he would touch people. We live in an age where you don't like, I don't even know how many states are, and sometimes countries are represented on this gratitude call, and we're all here together. That is a technology that didn't exist back in Jesus Christ's time. So I'm super excited for the evolution of everything that I do, the heightened progression of everything that I do, the gratitude call, the Lord's Way to Wealth membership community, the Seven Gateways membership community, the Architecture of Life mentoring. I'm just super excited for the heightened progression that's in store with this new vision that I have. Colleen.
So much of that heightened, it becomes trust. It becomes trust in myself, trust. Yesterday my daughters were worried about me. I was doing the dishes and doing a few things, and I'm sitting there, listen, you guys have evidence. All of my therapists have told me how well I'm doing. Even the doctor was amazed at the lack of bruising, and I'm doing things with more healing modalities than they have, so they see the progress that I'm making, and I'm doing it right. You guys need to trust me. But the thing of it is that I see myself so much, and I appreciate their concern, because I have not acted in integrity and done things that I thought needed to be done, and being inappropriate, trying to, just forgetting myself. But then that's not really right. That's not even forgetting myself and going to work. It was not honoring myself. So I just feel like there's so much in heightened awareness and heightened effort. Everything comes together for good, and as I trust in him, the it increases my trust in myself. Everything evolves, everything comes around, and I feel so much appreciation for my family and their support in my healing, and trying to do so many things so I'm not walking in my landmine backyard. And I appreciate them so much, and helping me to heal. But I am honoring my body, and I feel so gifted, that I watched Molly. I listened to Neil Maxwell tell us in a talk yesterday that he feels so much more indebted to God. With the more that he tries to give, the more that he's in debt. And
well,
yes. I think that is so true, that we can't outgive God, and he just keeps on dishing out blessings to us, and we just show our appreciation and love for him by honoring everything that he does. And the gratitude call is so much of that, just recognizing his hand in all things.
Wonderful. Thank you. I see, because I know, Colleen, from other things that you shared on the call and just, we've known each other for quite some time, that you've been bothered a little bit sometimes about how your family doesn't step up for you, and how wonderful it is that you can, kind of shed that skin that you have had, kind of put a little bit of a thick skin around you because, you didn't feel that love from your family and support from your family in the past. And for you to be able to recognize, hey, they just care about me and I can appreciate them. I don't have to, shove them aside and say, hey, just be quiet. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing it right. That you can kind of set aside your own ego and really accept the care, the words of care from your family. And you're right. There are counterfeit ways that there's a quote that says, just forget yourself and go to work, which a lot of times, we um, talk ourselves out of doing things when we really should be doing them. But there's also a counterfeit of that, of forget yourself and go to work. If you're healing, it's more important to remember yourself and do whatever work, is honoring to your body. So I love that you're learning those lessons. Thank you.
And my definition of family has changed a little bit,
Awesome.
but yes, my daughters have always just loved me so much, and I appreciate them so much. And I think I focused too much on who didn't, and
yeah,
so I
there you go. I love that. Thank you. Yes. Tyree and then Phil.
So something that I can't even find it. It's in Matthew, where it talks about consider the lilies of the field.
Yeah.
Is that Matthew 6? I don't know. Anyway, when I was a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I would read that and I would say, okay, Heavenly Father, how do I understand this scripture better? How do I internalize this? Because that was something, and I think it's from different experiences, but especially when I lived with my dad and he wouldn't buy me clothes and I would feel so uncomfortable going to school in these cruddy clothes. And I don't know if it's from that and just a combination, but I just always felt such lack. And I would read that and I would just yearn with my whole heart that I could get to that point to have faith. And then you helped me understand my mission and purpose that I couldn't even see. But as soon as you said it, I was like, I could see it. And I was so excited. And now I get to step into that faith and allow him to bless me as he blesses the flowers and he blesses the birds. And I'm so thankful for that heightened progression, that I can finally get to that space so that I can receive the resources that I need to do the mentoring and do the different things. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And, I think we do sometimes judge, why isn't God doing this or whatever, when we don't even really know the direction yet. He doesn't see that we're going to be able to use the resources in a way that is beneficial, that is really taking you to your highest progression possible. And until we have that direction, now he's going to get behind you. He's going to sanction everything that you're doing now, because you're doing it. You're cutting out the distractions and your path. Awesome. Thanks, Tyree. Phil, and then Mary.
When I think of heightened progression, what came to me was Angry Birds.
Is that the game?
Angry Birds on your cell phone, like it has two things you can do. One is how far you pull the stretchy thing back, and the other one is the angle that you do it. Like it's just two actions. That's all it is. And I remember, like, I just got hooked on it. Like you would cruise along and you get to this one and it was just so hard. Like you couldn't get past the level. And so, but eventually you figure exactly how far to pull it back and the right angle. And then you pass it easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time you try it, you pass it easily.
Mm.
And so it's interesting that, first off, just the joy of pulling it back and choosing the angle, how addicting just those little two actions can be, because you could see that it's possible, but for some reason you couldn't get past it. I remember a couple of times I do give my phone to my kids and say, I can't get past this thing. And they're like, oh yeah, you have to go like this. You have to pull it back this far and turn it to this angle right here.
Mm. So sometimes some outside help is good if we can't quite get it.
but the point here is that, I mean, I deleted all games off my phone because they're so addictive,
Yeah.
but since then, but the point is that once you learn it, once your brain figures it out, then it becomes easy. It becomes
Awesome.
for that. So
I love that. Colleen had given us a quote at the beginning before we started the recording, and it was Ralph Waldo Emerson, and she has it in the chat, but she says, I may not have gotten that exactly right. So she's just like speaking it off the top of her head, so it may not be perfect. But that which we persist in doing becomes easier, not because the task itself has changed, but our ability to do it is increased. And that's kind of what I hear you saying, Phil, is that if you keep working at it, it's going to get easier. The game didn't change, but you got a little bit of help, or you just tried this different angle. You just tried, pulling it back just a little bit further or whatever, or less, and finally got it. And then it becomes like easy. It's a snap. That's a really great example of heightened progression. Thank you. Mary.
So I had a lot of thoughts this morning, but I'm grateful to see how my moves and the movement in my life is a part of the heightened progression happening in my life. And I sometimes feel like I'm starting over, and I think, how is that progression? But it is part of that. It's a just because I'm in a new place, you're always starting over. You just keep going. And
Mm-hmm.
so I love that. And I see how my heightened progression comes from inside and not outside. We can make our life look different. That doesn't mean we're progressing, on the outside, but the heightened progression that I see happening on the inside is it's vulnerability,
Mm-hmm.
which I constantly find myself in. That state of vulnerability, and that's part of the really heightened progression. I cannot grow past a certain point unless I am vulnerable and allow myself in and allow others in.
Beautiful. Thank you. I remember learning this back in high school, I think. And so I may not get it exactly right, but the lobster has to completely shed its skin and become vulnerable. The shell is the protection for the lobster, but as it grows, it has to move to a different house. And I know that's something that you're experiencing right now, Mary, is you've just moved into a new home. And the lobster in the process doesn't just walk from one shell to the next. It has to shed its shell, and then it grows a new one. And so it takes a little bit of time, and there's some time where that lobster is really vulnerable. And as you were talking about growing from the inside, I've thought of this lobster just I think I want everybody to think that I'm bigger. And so I'm just going to let this shell go. And then I'm going to go run and find another shell that somebody else has shed that is bigger. And then I'll look bigger. And so this little tiny lobster inside of a big, huge shell with all this, extra space, and how funny that looked to me when I envisioned that. A lot of times we do want people to think that we're further along than we are, but it's the growth from the inside, and the outside just starts shining brighter. It just starts looking more confident. You know what I mean? It's like the outside is the byproduct of the change that's on the inside. We can fool some of the people some of the time, but we're never going to be able to fool ourselves, and we're never going to be able to fool God. It's that growth on the inside that's the most important. Thank you.
Yeah. I want to add that I resisted the move. I mean, I couldn't resist it, but I was like, oh, really? But I love my new home, and it is not. You know what? It's my space, and it's my space to create and to progress in. Thank you.
Beautiful. And I know you mentioned that this space is actually a little bit smaller. So it's not always about bigger, better, is it? It's just more of a better fit. Beautiful. Perfect. Love that. Okay, 2 more quick shares, and then we'll move to our permission process. Robert, and then Shalise.
I can deal with heightened progression when I no longer feel that I'm trapped in my old way. That's it.
Beautiful. Thank you. We need that freedom, don't we, to be able to move to a higher space. Fear, if not, then fear overtakes us, and we procrastinate. We keep holding back. We resist it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
When you no longer feel trapped, you can move to a heightened progression. Shalise.
I've been on a beautiful healing journey since last May, and I'm just so grateful for Heavenly Father bringing in the tools and the understanding that I needed in progressing and moving forward, and letting go of lower vibrations and ascending, and walking with Him through it all step by step.
Beautiful. I loved what you said, letting go of low vibrations and ascending. I think of like a balloon, a hot air balloon that is tethered to the ground. And until you are willing to untether yourself and, like Robert said, no longer feel, trapped, is the only way that you're going to be able to ascend. And there is a lot of vulnerability in that. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that, Shalise. Kathy says, for me, it's a heightened awareness of progression. That's very helpful as well. All right. Thank you, everyone who has shared. And I know there's probably lots of other things that could be shared. We're going to go ahead and shift into our permission process, and just encourage you all to go to our Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, and share your thoughts there if you have any other thoughts that you'd like to share with everyone. Go ahead and take a deep breath. And maybe right now, just envision yourself inside a basket of a hot air balloon, and just allow yourself to allow that vision to unfold for you. You get to create where this hot air balloon is, what the surroundings look like, and what the inside of that hot air balloon looks like. Maybe it's filled up with pillows and it's just this super comfy place, or maybe it's got all your charts and maps and everything that is ready for your next leg of your journey. Whatever it looks like on the inside, whatever it looks like on the outside, whatever your hot air balloon looks like. It doesn't have to be, a basket. It could be a bathtub or whatever. It can be anything. You just get to create this hot air balloon and just allow the vision to unfold for you. Instead of, logically creating what a hot air balloon looks like, allow that vision of the hot air balloon to unfold for you. And whether you're outside or inside the hot air balloon, that may be part of this vision for you as well. Whether you are just anticipating, whether you're already in the hot air balloon and you've got people ready to undo the ropes, so you're ready to soar, and maybe you're even up in the hot air balloon already. Maybe you're already floating around. So whatever the vision is that unfolds to you, just allow yourself to be in that vision, and take one more deep breath. And wherever you are, whether you're still on the ground, whether you're outside of the basket, just trying to get up, work up the courage to get into the basket, or if you're already up soaring, the task today is to allow yourself to a heightened progression. So wherever you currently are in your vision, allow yourself to visualize going 1 step, 2 steps, 10 steps, however high your inspiration is telling you that you are capable of going today. So allow yourself to be open to see what heightened progression means to you, for you specifically. And because this is your own personal process, there's no comparison to anybody else. It's just what fits for you. Just like Mary's new house fits her perfectly. And so get a clear vision of what heightened progression means for you right now, and listen for any fears or low vibration emotions that might be coming up that are tethering you, keeping you still in the current level. What limiting beliefs are holding you there? And recognize them for what they are, that they are limiting and they are just beliefs. And if you have the power to let go of those limiting beliefs, untether yourself, and choose some new beliefs that will allow this heightened progression. And all you have to do is just give yourself permission to choose some new beliefs by saying yes.
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 Awesome. So change that, if you're ready, change those limiting beliefs into new beliefs. And when I say change, I invite you to look at the words of the limiting beliefs and the tethered down low vibration nature of this limiting belief. There is, they also are the key to untether you, to allow you to soar even higher. And so look at the specific words that are written down and change the words so that they are heightened. Just give these words heightened progression. So if the word was stuck, then maybe the heightened progression of stuck is free. So whatever heightened progression that word is, just cross that word out and create a new word that is heightened progression of that. And see how that limiting belief becomes now empowering, that allows you to no longer be stuck. And then also listening for any other new beliefs that you might could add. So 2 to 3 new beliefs that will allow you to raise yourself on this, to be raised. You don't even have to raise yourself because it's hot air balloon. All you got to do is just let out some more air or whatever, turn up the heat or whatever you have to do. And you just rise. So you're not raising yourself, you're just allowing yourself to rise. And these new beliefs are the facilitators of this heightened progression for you. Take one more deep breath. And then as you're embracing these new beliefs, just allow those new beliefs to be pushed up into the inside of this hot air balloon. And if you have been tethered to the ground, ask for some help of untethering you, if that is your next step, so that you're inviting other people to be part of your heightened progression as well. It's not just a solo journey. And maybe there's some other people that you'd like to bring into the basket or the container underneath the balloon with you, to go with you. And so take a moment and see who those people might be. And maybe they're not even don't have a face or a name yet, but you're seeing that there are people that you get to take with you. So just adding to those new beliefs based on the way that your vision is unfolding to you of heightened progression. And then continue visualizing until you have reached that height that you had envisioned at the very beginning of this meditation. And then feel it, just kind of test your wings there. Just allow yourself to just, kind of test the ground of the clouds, test how you're able to float there easily. It's solid. It's not scary up here. It's beautiful. It's like this amazing view, and how it feels to have finally untethered yourself and to allow yourself to soar to the height that is perfect for you right now. And what is the one most important thing that you can do right today at this new height that will really anchor in these new truths, these new beliefs that you've created, and that you will find some evidence and that you'll see more truth in them? What's your inspired shortcut today? You're in this hot air balloon, you have access, you can go anywhere. What is the one most important thing? What's your inspired shortcut? Your first act at this heightened progression, this heightened level of progression. Even that word level tells you that you are safe. It's a level place. It's a level. I'm going to be here for a minute. And it feels solid. Take one more deep breath. Knowing that you have your next step, you've got your inspired shortcut, you have your new beliefs, you're feeling solid at your new level of progression. And know that this is not a comfort zone. It's not a place that you're going to stay for very long, because you're going to get inspiration soon of moving up to another level. But just get comfortable with the process of how easy it is to identify those limiting beliefs that are keeping you bound, keeping you tethered, and how easy it is just to raise the level of progression of the old limiting beliefs to a new belief that allows you to soar to greater heights. And then that will be a level of progression where you can get solid there for a moment. And then as soon as you receive inspiration to move up, it's just a very simple and predictable process. And maybe even create some new beliefs about how simple and easy and consistent this process is. No fear. And in a moment, I'm going to invite you to come back to the present. We are actually at the end of our time, so we won't be able to do any shares here live, but I do encourage you to go to our Breakthrough with Gratitude group and share your thoughts there. I feel like there are probably a lot of people that have had some really amazing visualizations here, and we'd love to share in that with you and celebrate with you. And if there's anybody on this call that you felt like needs to be on that journey with you, I encourage you to reach out to that person specifically as well. Thank you all for joining us today. I invite you to whatever feels like coming present to you. Maybe it is staying up in the air in your hot air balloon, and that's totally fine. But just come present, just to be able to leave this call in a grounded state, ready to take action and move forward quickly and solidly. And if there's anybody that's feeling like they need some extra support, you can always go to askwylene.com and schedule a 15-minute private mentoring session with me, askwylene.com. Thanks everybody for being here, and appreciate all of your shares, your thoughts, and looking forward to continuing this process on the Facebook group. So we will be here together again tomorrow at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Eileen.
you. I love you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I love you too.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.